everyone, and welcome back to Bear Force 1. We are all ready for Super Lesbian Animal RPG. That run is being done by our one and only Leggystarscream, Starscream. Take it away.
Oh, thank God, I thought there was another one of me. How's everyone doing tonight? I am the leggiest Starscream, and I hear we just hit 1K. Good news, I'm gay.
Yes, we in fact did.
So welcome to 2023, because honestly, let's face it, it came out December 2022. That means it counts for 2023. Am I right?
Yeah, it sure counts.
So I'm gonna go ahead and time starts when I confirm on this menu. So Fox, you wanna got me in?
Sure. 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. So this is a indie RPG that came out, like I said, in late 2022. If you know the title, you know what this game's about. It's about furry gay girls saving the world. One of the nice things about this game is if you hold down cancel, it just auto clears text boxes. So turbo is good, saves lives. Everyone have turbo in your games, please, for the love of God. We're going to start off. Here's Melody and Ellison. They're gay for each other. And will, in fact, be making out a lot over the course of this run.
So cute.
Mm-hmm. I love the pixel art in this game.
It kind of has a little bit of a RPG Maker, but also a little bit of a Pokemon aesthetic.
So, funny you should mention RPG Maker, because this is, in fact, an RPG Maker game.
Interesting.
Yeah. A very, very heavily modded RPG Maker game. But an RPG Maker game nonetheless, which is honestly one of the super cool things about it for me, is, like, unless you know that it's an RPG Maker game, you can't quite tell. Like, a lot of RPG Maker games kind of have a bit of an aesthetic to them that, you know, is very noticeable. This game does a lot pushing away from that.
Right.
But yeah, we are getting introduced to our third party member, the Disaster Cow Witch Claire.
Spooky.
Yeah, so we don't have the capacity to use magic. Claire's doing a ritual to fix that. Definitely not dangerous. Don't worry about it.
So safe.
So Melody wants to be a paladin, and to be a paladin, you have to pick where your power comes from. So we're gonna pick the power of love, you know, which one is the gay option, and two is also the fast option.
Love that.
So yeah, I'm gonna go through a lot of the general lore of the game, and a lot of the, like, routing of this category, which is any percent, has gone under a lot of revisions. Like, I was part of the community basically as soon as I finished my casual playthrough, and it's wild just how the game has evolved and how the strategies have developed over that time. But one of the big things you'll notice is that there aren't really random encounters. There are enemies in those, like, glowing evil orbs, and if you touch one, you get into battle. Some of them are stationary. Most of the stationary ones are mandatory. Some of them move around and will home in on you, and can be an absolute nightmare because when they're locked on you, they will speed up. And if you get hit by one that's like 5 to 10 seconds just straight off the table, nothing you can do about it. Because you gotta play the animation to get into battle, and then you gotta leave battle, it's a whole thing. But we are just running through this opening area, so if you have anything to share with chat, now would be a great time.
Yes, we do have a quick message from chat. Just a reminder, Bear Force 1, which is the event we are here for, is a mutual aid fundraiser organized to help a cherished friend of the Fame Fatales, Lady Arcaders, and overall speedrunning community, Happy Bear. She's crowdsourcing funds to help offset current medical debt so she can afford to have a surgery, and is now admitted to grad school. Student funds are tight. That is something I can personally relate to. We as a community have all rallied together to create this event and support her. With your donations, we can help change Happy Bear's life and make sure that she can get the care she needs comfortably.
Grad schools do not pay well. Holy heck. I don't know how I managed to get my doctorate.
They certainly do not, and I know that how frustrating that can be in student debt and medical debt, all that stuff. Yeah, especially if you live in the United States. Not fun. So It is great that we're able to support such an amazing friend.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I crit the whole hound, which means this is going to be a 4-turn fight as opposed to potentially a 3-turn fight. When it drops below an HP threshold, it hops down into the hole. But one of the important mechanics that we used there that we haven't really talked about is that kissing your girlfriend gives you a 15% bonus to all your stats.
I wish that happened in real life.
Oh, it does! And of course it stacks. The more girlfriends you have, the more buffs you get.
Oh, nice.
Shoutouts to my wonderful partner and commentator in crime, Demarine, who is flopped over in bed, resting up, unfortunately not feeling well enough to be here on the mic tonight. But still very cute, still very wonderful.
Indeed. That is one thing I appreciate about speedrunning, is that we are all definitely close-knit community, and it's always nice to be able to support each other.
Yeah, it is not an exaggeration when I say speedrunning changed my life. It definitely was there right as I was coming out, and, gave me a community where I could just be myself and explore, what that means. And then literally every single partner I have, I met through the speedrunning scene, so yeah.
We have some Deme love in the chat.
Hell yeah.
Telling Deme to get better.
So yeah, in the game, we're still very novice adventurers, so we're down here in the basement dungeon, magically generated by Claire, out of the cardboard and, just loose stuff Allison had in her basement. So we're gonna fight some dust bunnies. These can be annoying because if you don't get the one-shot with Scorch, which is the fire spell Claire's using, they catch fire. And if they catch fire, they're worth less experience, which we do have to route around. Luckily, that's the one fight where that actually can come into play. After this, we aren't using Scorch on anything that can turn into a flaming dust bunny. So we got lucky.
That's good. That is good. We always like getting lucky.
This is an RPG, after all.
Yeah, setting things on fire! That does not sound like a great move.
Yeah, they're weak to it. It does more damage.
Yes, but we need to save time.
Right? And, honestly, you know, I'd be able to deal with the less XP if there wasn't like a mini cutscene that plays where Allison's like, "Oh my god, why did you light it on fire?" Which, you know, fair.
Fair indeed.
So this is our first real boss, the Big Dust Bunny. And one of the things about Allison is that she has directional attacks, up, down, left, right. Different enemies are weak to different ones. It's basically just an alternate elemental system, you know, like RPGs have your fire, your ice. In this case, you have high kicks and low kicks. And for the Big Dust Bunny, when it's in the box, it's weak to getting hit up top. When it's out of the box, it's weak to getting the low kick. So we're just gonna switch that up real quick, and this fight's basically over.
I was just appreciating the design of that boss and how buff the bunny is.
Oh yeah. We here at Bear Force 1 support buff bunnies.
We sure do.
We get our first bit of equipment. Did not get any bonus equipment drops, so Melody, unfortunately, is going to have to stay unequipped for now. We can get a Grindcore t-shirt off of the Dust Bunny Sage that was guarding the first key, and the Big Dust Bunny can drop an Iron Gauntlet, which it does give Melody the ability to punch a little bit, which is actually really useful. Especially early on when we want her to, in fact, be punching.
I see.
Like, she doesn't hit that hard, her damage falls off really quick, but here in the early game, you know, every point counts.
Right, right. It's like a really spooky area with all these glowing crystals.
Yep. And this is not normal. But hey, there's a couch here. And, you know,
a couch.
Allison's a sleepy bunny.
Oh.
She wants to take a nap. And, like, who can blame her?
Yeah,
like, it's almost midnight here for me. I might be a little tired. It's been a hell of a week at work.
I imagine. Yeah,
so,
we all could use a nap sometimes. Make sure to get some sleep after the marathon, everyone.
Yep. Every bit of suboptimal movement gets blamed on work. But yeah, we're gonna pick up a spell there, Purify. Purify cures the Corrupt status effect, which several enemies in here can inflict, including the weird glitches in space-time that we ran away from.
Yes.
One of the interesting things that we did was the fight we had on the way to that old computer. For the longest time, we thought it was a mandatory fight. Turns out it isn't, and you can just run away from it instead. So that actually had an impact on our routing here, because we do actually take the only optional fights we really want to be taking over the course of this game in this dungeon to get Claire up to level 4 so that she can learn the Frost spell, which is going to be very useful on the upcoming boss.
I did not think you were joking. I thought you were joking when you said literal rifts in space-time, but no, you are in fact fighting actual rifts in space-time.
Yeah, so our goal right now is to find the 4 keys scattered across the dungeon and use them to open up the center area that'll lead us to the boss. The whole hound in his pants is weak to down.
At least he was nice enough to wear a belt.
Indeed. Unfortunately, if you do high roll, you can one-shot with the low kick, but there isn't really a good way to speed up that fight without risking someone getting corrupted. This one, on the other hand, because Claire's magic always does a fixed amount of damage, unless it crits. Because of course magic can crit, why wouldn't it?
That makes
we're
so
able
much sense.
Yeah. It does a fixed amount of damage, except for, you know, all the times it doesn't. But yeah, one of the nice things about this game being an RPG Maker game is that RPG Maker games are notoriously easy to decompile. And so we've been able to dive in and look at all of the damage formulas and, you know, calculations for all the different attacks and all the different enemies' stats in this game. So we've actually done a fair bit of work on damage calculations, which has led to some really tight routing for various fights, including this one. This is a Court Guardian. Court Guardian can be really nice. Court Guardian can also be a massive jerk. All depends on whether or not it inflicts corruption status on people. Though that crit's nice. And that's the optimal fight.
Nice.
We're gonna take a level here. We're gonna see a weird... We've got that weird, like, monitor hole in space-time. And here's Javis. He's kind of a jerk, but, you know, very much wants you to respect him and his name. His name is not Jarvis, it is Javis. He is very clear about this.
I see.
And he's gonna blow up that weird device that's going on, resetting the fabric of space-time back to normal, and now we're in a cave. Well, it's the cave we were in earlier, so...
Ah, okay.
At least we didn't go too far.
That's nice. Wouldn't want to get lost.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, we haven't seen much in the way of ether drops from enemies. Which does mean we need to do one more full heal before we go into the next area of the game. But we're now going to be in cutscene and exposition town for the next little bit. After a prompt to save, we will be taking some safety saves as we go. This is a marathon setting. Some of these bosses can be kinda nasty.
Fair enough.
Now we have two cute girlfriends talking about their feelings.
Aww.
Melody talking about, you know, the story of how she picked her name.
That's cute.
Before we cut away to Javis talking to someone? Do you have the stream up? Curious what my time's at right now.
Give me one moment. You're at a 17:32.
Ooh, that's nice. Sub 18 is really where you want to be for Act 1. So that's actually, you know, a really good pace for right now.
Nice. Yeah, there might be a little bit of slack in that due to stream delay, but yeah, it definitely is sub 18, so that's always great when we are on track.
Aw, yeah. So yeah, judging by the number of coffee cups on that table, Claire definitely slept a lot last night. Don't worry about it. She's fine. But yeah, we've decided that we're going to tell, you know, the people in town, but first we gotta talk to Mona, who is this adorable yet sassy mouse girl who gives us a bestiary and tells us what the reward for completing the bestiary is. Do you want to guess what the reward for completing the bestiary is?
What is it?
It's a complete bestiary.
Oh, so surprising!
We're going to talk to Holly there, who's the big buff dog there. She gives us the second-hand staff, which she might bent a little bit, but it's actually a really good upgrade for either of our casters. We're going to put it on Claire so her offensive magic can hit a little harder because we're going fast. And the best way to go fast is to kill things faster.
Sounds good.
That's Faith, Magical Unicorn, and Guardian of the Town. We let her know what's going on. Well, at least some of what's going on. It's fine, it's fine. She gave us a quest to go look for Jody, who is her girlfriend, and also is going to be our fourth party member.
Nice.
And now we're back at the restaurant, where Claire reveals that she has a crush on Beverly here. If you want to see how that plays out, buy the game. Play it yourself.
Ooh.
We do actually go check out that date on all quests, but this is just any percent.
I see.
Okay. We do a little bit of shopping, pick up some spell books. Spell books are basically an equipable item that are like an expanded version of... Y'all ever play Golden Sun and how you have the like items you can equip to your characters that give them access to that one extra spell? Spell books are kind of like that, except they give you 4 different buttons to play around with.
I see.
We picked up Spellblade and Inner Beast. Inner Beast provides some really useful extra damaging physical options for Allison that are going to get us to the early game, at least until we get to the next town. And we picked up Spellblade, which, if you've played Final Fantasy V, does exactly what you think it does. It enchants someone's basic melee attacks with that element, making them do bonus damage and also damage with that element. This will be used also for a little bit in the next section.
Very, very nice.
This game is really cute.
It is really cute. I like this art style.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna come up here to the shrine of the sun goddess, who doesn't really do anything. Don't worry about the fact that this guy wearing, official sun goddess merchandise just showed up out of nowhere. I'm sure it's nothing. But talking to him gives us a useful spell that not only melts 2 ice blocks, but also gives us the ability to cure the frost status in battle. So we're going to use it to defrost these 2 Bethany's and Mariana. They're great. They both rule. They're the bards of the town. We love them.
We love our bards.
So we're going to get our first use of one of our spell books. Allison is going to go ahead and use Sabertooth Chomp. And miss? Girl, please! Luckily, easy enough to clean up, though a little slow.
Also gotta pick up the slack.
Right? Yeah. Allison missing attacks is probably the most painful bit of RNG in this run, especially because the game is routed so tightly at this point.
Right.
We are going to take a minute and heal up because this next fight can be kind of rude. quick save, and we're gonna go. So this is the first real, like, gatekeeper of the run. This is the Trash King, King of the Trash. Those garbage bags will heal him over time if you leave them alive, so we're gonna kill them first. Cure there. And attack boost, which we picked up after level 5 on Claire. Gives a 20% to her attack stat. Unfortunately, she's poisoned, and we're not going to learn the skill to cure the poison until literally after this fight. It is the most cursed part of running any percent.
No! That sounds so frustrating! I hate it when games do that.
Right? We're gonna just have to keep trying and pushing and hope that we can clean this fight up lickety-split. Luckily, one of the nice things about this game is that damage over time status effects will not kill you. They'll just leave you with 1 HP.
I see. Interesting. That is a good thing to know.
Yeah. So I was able to plan around that and clean that fight up even though the trash bags had just reappeared. Didn't have to worry about taking them out. There's a saying that goes around RPG speedrunning communities that birds are jerks. That one is no exception. So this is a wild teleporter we found not too far from where Jody dropped her wallet. Welcome to the Celestial Wasteland.
A little pretty for a wasteland.
Right? I love the dancing cacti.
I just noticed. That's adorable.
The dancing robot cacti, which, you know, as a Sonic speedrunner, probably does not set off any red flags whatsoever when you see so much robotic stuff floating around.
Yeah, definitely doesn't set off red flags for potential egg-shaped nemesis.
Luckily, we're already done with all the eggs we're going to see in this run.
I noticed them earlier.
Yeah. Well, look, Melody and Claire already came out.
True! That is true!
So here we're going to get our use of Spellblade because the tombstone here is weak to fire. Listen, girl! You're making me look bad!
One enemy needs to get a fit check for reals.
Right?
Kind of love the design though, because it's like I could really imagine like the I could see someone actually wearing that. It's kind of cute,
yeah.
not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely got that strong mummy chic. I went off the rails again a little bit, but hey, we got through, and that's what's important.
Yep.
Luckily, you know, the fights for the next little bit aren't dangerous, but, you know, if someone doesn't stop missing, this run might be a little slow. You know, I'm not naming names. Not naming names.
Being polite. One thing I've been vibing to this whole time is the music in this game is really good.
Oh yeah, the music in this game is incredible. Check it out, it's all on Bandcamp. So we picked up an extra spellbook called Magical Girl. Magical Girl gives us access to our AoE healing options. And I just need a moment to remember the strat here. There we go. So this is why I usually have Demi around, so she can talk so I can actually, you know, remember what I'm doing in this game.
Felt that. Felt that.
Yeah.
Especially in an RPG where there's so much memorization of what you're supposed to do. I play platformers. It's like I hit button, I hold right to win. I imagine in RPGs, actually being able to think through things is a lot more pertinent.
Yeah, but like on the other hand, like, I don't know. I don't think I could run platformers. Like, I would need to like actually be good at games. And like press buttons with like actual timing.
True. True.
Whereas I can just, you know, flail around here. Yeah, it costs a little time, but hey, we got through. Alright, and equip. And girl. There we go. Cool. I know my menus. I know how this game works. We are going to take another quick save here because I'm a little scaredy cat. But this is, you know, a robot friend who we're going to ask for help, and who is, you know, friendly and not at all dangerous, and don't worry about it. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, we can totally trust robots.
Huh? Yeah, this one's a friend. Like,
yes, a friend.
Yeah, like, look at her. She's totally friend-shaped.
Yes, totally friend-shaped.
Listen! And this is the big reason why we grabbed the Magical Girl spellbook. That big AoE attack. Additionally, we need to break that rock this turn, otherwise we're going to get hit with just an absolute pile of damage. So taking care of that...
I did not realize the rock was sentient.
No, the rock is not sentient. Our robot friend is just going to throw it at us.
I see. That's very rude.
Right? Well, cleaned up the fight. RNG was a little rude there, but hey, we got through lickety-split. And this is Jody, our fourth and final party member. One of the things I didn't really mention are the star points, which are what we're using for our big attacks. The directionals from Allison, Melody's Gust of Wind spell. You get those by performing actions that are within your job description. So Melody's a healer. She gets star points for healing people. Allison and Claire are damage dealers. They get points for doing physical and magical damage. Jody is our tank. Gets star points for getting punched in the face. And of course, everyone also gets star points for being gay. But yeah, no, Cliff's actually friendly, just got a little data corrupted.
Oh yeah, I just need to run some run some Windows Defender on her own. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Earlier, we had Jody throw basically a magnet at her that caused her to blue screen and reboot. But yeah, here's that mummy we fought earlier. This is Neff. She rules. 10 out of 10, make sure you take the time to read all the dialogue if you sit down and play this game. It is incredible. We are going to buy some of the best equipment in the game right now. The weapons aren't anything special. But the big stuff is the spellbooks we bought and the accessories we bought. The accessory is called Right Back At Ya. 25% of the time, it works every time, and when it works, it not only lets you dodge an attack, but you also get to counterattack with your basic melee attack. This is really good on Allison, but it'll also one day be incredible for Claire. But also, not taking damage is good.
Generally, that is advisable.
Additionally, we picked up the single best spellbook in the game, Chronomancy. As a Final Fantasy speedrunner, I am required by law to say that in Final Fantasy 1, the single most powerful spell in that game is Haste. Because doubling your main source of DPS's DPS output is kind of okay. And Chronomancy in this game is no exception to that rule. Speed up lets your attackers attack twice with their basic attack. And we are going to have that on at least one person for the entire rest of the game. And for most of the rest of the game, it's going to be on 2 people.
That was such a cute gay scene.
Right? I too love being cozy with my girlfriend.
Cozy with partners is great.
Hell yeah. So yep. The nice thing is there's no like RNG to running away from battles. You either can or you can't. Most enemies who are roaming around will just let you run away. The exceptions are enemies that are on a set track. Most of those are actually unrunnable. And of course, things like boss fights.
That must be nice.
So I currently play on a downpatched version of the game because it lets me do that.
I see.
I actually learned earlier today that actually got patched out, so... so yeah. Both Jody and Allison have the Ruby Spear item that we bought in town. So, they're going to be our main source of damage for a lot of this next portion of the game. So you can see, doubling damage output is kind of an okay thing to do.
Ah, yes.
Plus, if Allison misses an attack, it's less bad.
Allison?
No, but it does drop from the super flying robots. Ruby Spear, of course, being the name of the company that did, what, an old Mega Man cartoon, if I have that right? I don't remember my lore. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna need to pick up 2 keys. And I love the color wheel enemy because one of their attacks is to change one of your party members' color palettes. Each party member has a specific color palette, and we're not going to see it in this case, but they're all references to other media properties.
I actually have a question.
Go for it.
What are the species of all of our party members? I know we have a cow, and I'm trying to figure out everybody else.
Yeah, so Melody is a fox. Allison is a bunny.
Right.
And Jody is a tiger.
Nice.
Yeah, don't worry about the keys disappearing. We still have them. Gotta walk through the break room, and now we're coming into my favorite section of the game.
Why is it your favorite?
Well, just look at all the different weird things going on. You know, we've got the tiny room, the tall room, the classic Game Boy room, the normal room, and back to the Super Pixel room.
Nice.
Dodge up and down and all around. Go for it.
I was laughing because that was a Sonic reference. Up and down and all around.
Look.
I was saying this room kind of looks like one of those, like, I don't remember what they're called, but they were like those things that they were like these notebooks you got as like a kid, and you had these special markers, and it was like a black paper, but if you drew on it with a special marker, it came out rainbow.
I forget the name of them, but I remember them being advertised all the time on Nickelodeon.
Yes! I'll have to look it up.
Rude. Hate it when enemies heal themselves. Like, let my damage stick, you coward. But, you know, the Singularity is not exactly the most difficult fight in the world, so they have to give it something.
They were called scratch art.
Mmm. Oh, hey, look, it's another one of those things.
Ooh.
It is a scrambler. It is basically going to randomize the world, but, badly. We just did one of the only other skips in this game, which is actually a feature put into the game to prevent people from getting frustrated. So the cutscene that should have played before this boss takes forever. So if you were to die during this fight, or, have your power go out before this fight or something like that, you wouldn't want to sit through the whole cutscene again. So the developer did a really nice thing and added just a skip to boss function, which is stored as a global flag. That is just one file you can copy into the folder. So we allow setting that up because it's super easy, and honestly, just means there's 2 less cutscenes we have to sit through. This one and one on a much later boss fight.
Always nice to skip long cutscenes and speedrun.
Yeah, like, as good as the cutscenes are, and let's face it, all the cutscenes in this game are excellent, gotta go fast. Which is another Sonic reference.
Yes!
Yep. So we blow up that scrambler, and now it's just time to go back home. We've got our teleporter, I'm sure nothing bad happened to it while we were in the dungeon. Ha 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 ha. I'm sure no one dropped it like an iPhone or anything. Haha. That would be weird. Oh.
That would be so weird.
Well, luckily there's a tech goblin in town. I mean, technically she's a tech zombie, but like, you take one look at her, come on, she's a goblin. Can't believe they put Leggstar in this game. And she gives us a spell book. We used to use that spell book. We don't anymore.
Sad.
Do not need it. So, good news. We can turn this teleporter back on. Bad news, we have to walk through and flip 4 separate switches in this underground section that's got a mana leak problem going on. How bad's a mana leak, you might ask? It's a gas leak.
Oh no.
Yep. But, you know, we're brave, heroic types. We can take this. Oh god, it's a spooky robot.
Spooky.
Hey, right back at you, fired. You know, right where I don't need it. That's one of the things I love about running RPGs. They keep you on your toes like that.
Right. Got a lot of adapting to do throughout the run.
Yeah. As I run directly into that fight as opposed to dodging it. If you're lucky, you can dodge this one and the next one.
Aww, last minute.
Never lucky. Never lucky. But, you know, that's half the fun.
Right.
This is one of those infinite rooms where there's not like a set pattern or anything. You just gotta go back and forth until you trigger the cutscene.
Interesting.
At first, I thought it was like something like from the Wind Waker, where there's like a set pattern you have to go through, or the Lost Woods, or any other Zelda. But nope, it is just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
This is creepy.
Yeah. Look, if I had a nickel for every time a trans girl lead of a video game had a headmate who was kind of a jerk, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but hey, it'll help me climb a mountain.
And I guess you could say it's weird that it's happened twice.
Right? I mean, it's not even that weird. It makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But yeah, Melody definitely has some mental health things she needs to work on, which, you know, fair, don't we all?
Don't we
and
all?
Like, you know, this whole fighting evil thing, kind of a little stressful.
Yeah, I imagine so. Oh wow, we're already at Act 3.
Yep. Act 2 and 3 aren't very long. Act 4 is actually the longest act in the game, even longer if we do all quests. Okay, Act 2 and Act 3 are actually kind of snappy. You know, shoutouts to the waves crashing on the shore. You know, that color palette definitely doesn't remind me of anything.
I just noticed that now that you pointed it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good color palettes snuck into this game. It's really good. Unlike what's going on in town! Yeah. stuff's going down.
I see.
And we, as, the amateurs, the newbies, are trusted with going up to the civilians, who are still in their homes, and going, yo, follow me. We'll set you free. Trust me and you'll escape from the city.
Escape from the city.
Luckily, we don't have to crush 40 enemies along the way.
That's amazing.
Thank you, I'll be here all night. So, we're still speeding people up, punching people in the face, taking care of the rift in space-time first before it corrupts people. Corruption is basically your classic JRPG confusion status. You will lose your turn, and on subsequent turns, start attacking your allies, which is no bueno.
No bueno indeed.
Yep. Luckily, this first fight, not a big deal. And in here is the two little shopkeep kids who we definitely talked to earlier and definitely know about. And definitely didn't, completely skip because we're going fast.
Yeah, totally.
Stuck back in here to library. Here's Mona again. She sasses us, and then we teleport her off, chair and all. So we've talked a little bit about enemies and getting in our way and getting stuck on things. That enemy right there is the single most annoying enemy in the game. It can block that hallway forever and lose infinite time. It sucks and I hate it, but was actually really nice to us tonight. So, shout outs to the wing wheel.
Nice. Very, very nice.
And of course, the Dark Horses have a face I'm not even sure their mother could love.
Aww.
Look at that.
I mean, they're okay.
Yeah. So these are the best characters in the game. A family of the mom and the evil supervillain grandson and grandfather. Don't worry about it. They're fine. They got this. But at the end of the day, every character in this game is the best character in the game.
Fair.
I love them all. They are my precious Blorbos.
Fair enough. Yeah, I see what you mean by the dark horse. Looks like a poorly made fursuit.
Oh dear God, you're right. Or you ever see one of those old pictures of the super old Mickey Mouse costume?
Yes! Like the ones from the 60s?
Yeah! Nightmare fuel.
Total nightmare fuel. Chat, if you haven't seen what we're talking about, that's something worth Googling. They are horrifying.
Or not, maybe you want to sleep tonight. Maybe wait till, tomorrow when the sun's up and you can process it in the daylight.
Right, and besides, we have plenty of more runs tomorrow and on Sunday, so you'll be up and you can come back for more of the marathon.
Mm-hmm. So now that we've teleported all four of the civilian locations out, we come up here and say hi to Paula. Paula, who we ran by earlier, kind of a jerk. Joining the bad guys because reasons that she'll explain later. But for now, we're gonna go back down to the basement dungeon because I think Claire said something about there being a secret passage through here. I don't know the lore. I just play this game fast.
I was gonna ask you about the lore.
Well, the important thing is we have a girlfriend hug on screen.
Fair.
First time Faith and Jody have seen each other since everything went to hell in a handbasket. So, big ol' hug. Also, if you do the side quest that has Faith and Jody going on their date, you do get the most relatable dialogue option in this game.
Boy.
I'm not going to spoil what it is.
Now we gotta go play this game.
But, like, every time I run into it, and every time I'm like, yeah, that's the most relatable dialogue option, my partners get mad at me for some reason. Like, no, you're not allowed to say that. How dare you? You're a good person. I'm like, oh, come on. Let me have this. So the gimmick of this dungeon is that there are some floor tiles that will activate those statues we were walking by. And they will attack us, and it's an unrunnable fight, so we really don't want to be standing on those floor tiles, especially because those statues are really nasty for this stage of the game with the not grinding we've been doing.
That's
So
what I've been noticing.
Yep. From here on out, we will not fight any optional encounters that we don't have to. I phrase it like that because we can still accidentally run into a technically optional encounter that just happens to be unrunnable. But if we run into a fight and we can run away from it, we will. We had our grind session earlier. We got out of that first dungeon. Now it's just go time. Pop up here and get the weird key. However, we might not be grinding, but that doesn't mean we aren't above doing some looting. So we gotta slide back up and around here. The boss is actually down from the previous room. And I need to be careful because I am really bad at these puzzles.
Oh no.
I mean, took care of it just fine, but I will occasionally accidentally take extra steps and get into a fight and lose a minute. I definitely didn't lose at least one world record like that. Don't worry about it.
I can relate to that so much. That reminds me of a world record I lost where I died in the last stage. I was on world record pace and I died in the last stage because I took the wrong route, and at the very last moment, my controller dropped an input.
Oh no!
The recovery got dropped, and it was so sad. I have since beaten that time, but I know how it feels.
Yep. Sword! I'm gonna do some quick equipping. Cool. And so we picked up a couple of things here in this dungeon. First of all, we picked up the fighter's headband, which is a piece of headgear that gives Allison a little more physical attack. We picked up the celestial vestments, which are a piece of body armor that gives Claire a bit more magical attack. We picked up the Moonblade, which is a nice weapon upgrade for Allison, and we picked up the Flame Rod, which not only gives Claire a bit more spell casting, but it also changes her basic physical attack to be a slightly weaker fire spell. You might be like, oh, well, why would you use that? Well, for one, it's free. It doesn't cost her any MP. But for two, hey, you remember what I said about speed up?
Yeah.
How it doubles the number of hits you get off your basic physical attack? Yeah.
I see.
And magic can't miss.
I see.
We are going to use Barrier with Jody, which is basically a defensive buff you can put up on people. Gives her some star points, which don't actually matter for now, but it will help Allison try and stay alive while I get Melody in position to heal her.
That's good.
We've got Dive Bomb, which is the new attack from Allison, which is just a big pile of damage.
I like that description.
It's 2 star points, which, you know, isn't trivial, but it does do more damage than a basic physical attack in a given round, even with speed up applied. And and by not having to worry about reapplying speed up, it saves our the rest of our team from worrying about it and needing to worry about doing other things. Haul it down. Probably should have healed before going in, but getting a little greedy, trying to go a little fast. We saved. It was fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
So, now we get to see what Javis's evil plan is this whole time. It's to plug in more RAM into the head base of the town. I'm sure that's fine.
That totally looks normal.
Yep, but this is going to summon the best dressed character in the game. The one, the only, the majestic and heavenly, Queen Verena.
I see.
Like, look at that outfit. God damn.
That is pretty on fleek.
So just listen to that dramatic piano theme.
Yeah, it's very dramatic and slightly creepy.
As it should be. It's not every day you come face to face with one of the gods of your society who's like, yo,
I see.
I'm here to wreck stuff. Some stuff went down. You've got a week.
So.
Send your best. Or this world is getting sent straight into the Scrambler.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not great. Honestly, it's a little terrifying.
Seems so.
But importantly, here we learn, hey, you remember that ritual that happened way, way, way back at the beginning of the game where Melody and Allison got the ability to use magic? Yeah, that turns out it came from that book, which just happened to be one of Rena's private collection that we were just holding on to after she pieced the hell out.
Oh,
and it might have caught her attention, and that's why everything's going to hell in a handbasket.
I see.
And it's not great.
Dark Harmony back.
Yep. So yeah, I love this scene. This scene is a beautiful and, you know, amazing, like, basically paced, amazingly choreographed, amazingly animated demonstration of what a panic attack feels like.
I see.
I just wish it was faster. As the world closes in on you, after your
Yeah,
partner tells you the exact worst thing they could right in that moment.
right. This is actually pretty accurate, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Anyway, it's Act 4 time. One of the lore points is that most of the technology is out, the internet's down. The pneumatic tubes still work, which is great.
That is good.
So we're gonna go off and go meet the next best character in the game, Zinnia, who is Faith's old mentor, who is gonna be able to help us get through this situation.
That's good. It is always important to know that you can rely on others. Speaking of, just a reminder of where we are sitting at right now in terms of marathon dealios. I still have incentives open for you to donate towards if the internet would cooperate with me. We still have a donation goal for Star Wars Knights of the Republic to wear this Wheat the Sith armor. We currently that goal is set for $200 and it is open until tomorrow at the start of that run. We also still have 2 bid wars open for that game as well, for the lightsaber color, and the light side versus dark side end bid war is still open. Right now, light side end is winning with $10. If you want to change the side, the tides of those bid wars, get your donations in, you can do exclaim donate in the chat in order to get the direct link to Happy Bear's Ko-Fi to donate. Remember in your donation comment to put what your donation is going towards, which incentives, so we can make sure that your money is going to the right place.
So we're going to stop in here, pick up a starfruit. We picked up another one much, much earlier back in the Neon Labyrinth where we fought the Gumball Goliath. Starfruits are simple. They are a consumable item that maxes out your star meter. This will be important for a boss later on at the end of Act 4, and we need 2 of them. But here's Zinnia, who's ready for Dragon Grandma Jump Scare.
Cute!
Yeah, best character in the game.
Dragon Grandma jump scare is certainly a new sentence.
Mm-hmm. We do get a full heal. And, you know, she might be over 1,000, but she doesn't look a day over 600.
True.
So we're gonna let her know what's going on, how things are going down, and as it turns out, when you're, you know, a couple 100 years old, you get to meet some people, like, you know, Queen Verena, who Zinnia was her first pupil and was the first person on this planet given magic. And again, something went down. Zinnia really doesn't want to talk about it. It definitely seems like it was a bad time for her, too. But, you know, she's here to help. And since, you know, Melody and Allison had a fight, we're going to split up the party and let, you know, people talk it out while we pick berries. So first we're going to start with our trans and magical duet.
I misread that title as Furry Mountain.
If you're looking for area names that are on the nose, just wait. Trust me. Whatever you're expecting, it's more on the nose than that. Yeah, so our goal here is to wind our way through the various puzzles and talk to all the different berry bushes along the way. We will be picking up one piece of equipment here in this segment before we go back to the other duet. And I'm just going to mess up the puzzle for no reason.
Oh no.
It was fine. But see what I mean about, you know, controller putting in inputs like early.
Right. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Where you going, buddy?
That looked like a very excited snowman.
Mm-hmm. The Snow Batman.
Yeah, Snow Batman. I should be more specific. Use his government name.
Yeah, the hero we deserve. Yep. So we're gonna pop over here and get the Frost Wand. It's like the Flame Rod we have right now, except bold. Which is gonna be really useful. We're gonna slap that on Claire as soon as we get out of here. It doesn't give any more stats, but a lot of the endgame enemies are actually really weak to Frost. So it's actually really useful. So, unfortunately, Claire's gonna run up, try and grab the last batch of berries, trip over a root. Luckily, she's paired with the healer, so that's easy enough to fix up. They're gonna have a bit more of a heart-to-heart, you know. They're both really good. They're both good friends. And sometimes, you know, the stress of everything gets at it, but, you know, you just gotta talk it out. Be open and honest and communicative with people.
That is for sure.
Now we're gonna kick back on over to the other pair. We're gonna wait for this enemy to move so we can try and slip on by. Luckily, the pathing in RPG Maker isn't the best, so we're able to trap it behind that tree. Now, unlike the other pair, these two do have actual pair of required fights. Starting with this one. This is arguably not the worst fight of the game, but definitely the most annoying one, because those squirrels, super high evasion rate for no real good reason. Luckily, they seem to be going well. Additionally, the Snow Batman can inflict the freeze status on people, which can be extremely rude if we get a freeze at the wrong time in this fight. But Fight decided to play ball, which I am grateful for.
You're certainly grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. And sneak around behind the pillar to dodge that fight. Something I only found out recently. And now we're on this puzzle where you slide on the tiles that switch the layout of the blocks. I don't want to talk about how long it took me to solve that particular puzzle when I was playing this game casually. Flip the switches, because that's where not only the key to get us into the next area, but also the next berry bush is. the long way round just to be safe. And now they've introduced direction changers. Luckily, a puzzle's easy enough. We're gonna let this one go because sliding on ice is slow. And then this is just 2 inputs, and it gets us through Lickety Split.
Nice.
I'm gonna stop here for safety. Buy a quick stack of potions. Just because, you know, we don't have a healer in the party right now, so gotta make do with something.
True.
Here is the last batch of berries. Controller. And now, Allison's gonna ask the most important question of all, which is, hey Jody, why do you think we broke up? But their heart-to-heart is interrupted by loud roar of Paula, who got infused with magic, kind of like Melody and Allison did, but maybe a little too much. She's not doing so hot.
Yeah, that sickly green glow is a little concerning.
So unfortunately, we're gonna have to do it the only way we really know how, and kind of just beat it out of her. You know, this is an RPG after all.
True.
Grab those potions earlier so we can make sure that we keep Allison hale and hearty. And luckily, we only have to take her down to half health. We're gonna get her back. Melody, at some point, picked up Mana Drain as a spell, so we use it to siphon off all the excess mana running through Paula's system. She's gonna talk about how, you know, not having magic meant that, you know, she felt inadequate and looked at people who had magic as cheating and as a handout, and she needs to pick herself up by her bootstraps. And, well, I mean, we've all heard that one before on Twitter.
True.
Melody and Allison are gonna hug it out. And, you know, get over the fight, because let's face it, you know,
We all make mistakes.
Yeah. And a relationship doesn't mean never fighting. A relationship means that the arguments you have are things you can work through together to come out the other side even stronger.
Right. I've always heard the advice of arguments with your partner should not be against each other, but fighting against the problem.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, sometimes you're going to get into differences of opinion. But, you know, you talk it out, you explain where you're both coming from, and you find the best solution for both of you.
Right.
Verina's on a whirlwind tour of places she remembers from 1,000 years ago. This one does not spark joy. But going through and seeing what has become of the world in her absence has strengthened her resolve. But we've convinced Faith and Zinnia that we should be the ones to go and just, try and talk it out with Maria. Because, again, talking, it's good.
Very much so. We do like talking. And communication.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna double check real quick. Good. Okay. There's a thing of that wall I needed to pick up. It's late. I forgore.
It happened.
Now we're gonna slip into the Uncanny Valley.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, this isn't even the one I was talking about.
Funny. I can't help myself sometimes. It's late.
Oh, no. Like, this one's great. I'm just saying, it gets better.
Ooh, now I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna try and slip through encounters as fast as we can here. We're gonna dip out this way. Over to the other side of the Amberwoods where we were earlier. Because we got this key that opens doors like that one. We're going to come up to the gazebo. We aren't going to fight the gazebo, but we are going to get the spell that lets us turn these flowers into a path. It used to be the case that we would dip into the astral plane again, which is that hub area that we were traveling through to get back to the Uncanny Valley. But it actually turns out it's faster to just pop back up this way and go back the way we came to get to the next area we need to go. And shout outs to NBZ who discovered that and who is a wonderful fellow speedrunner of this game.
Nice. Very, very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the speedrunning community for this game is super cozy, super small, but also super queer. And I love every single person involved. Everyone is amazing. You should definitely come hang out with us in the Discord.
I assume that if anyone was interested, we could find that Discord link on the speedrun.com page?
Correct.
Good to know.
And so that's Mint. She is a tiny fairy. She made a hammer that is bigger than her body. And we are going to have Allison smash it into our enemies.
Nice.
We are also going to pick up a tiny witch hat. Claire, because she loves her hat, cannot equip hats. Except for that tiny witch hat, which is just small enough that she'll wear it.
That's very funny.
It fits under the other hat. And with that, there will be one more piece of gear we pick up in the final dungeon, but we are actually coming up on the final dungeon very rapidly. You remember when I was talking about those star fruits? We're going to be putting them to good use here in a minute.
Nice.
So yeah, we've seen Helper Jelly before, you know. Slime-based healer friend, oh.
Oh.
Well, you know, it's not an RPG for nothing.
True.
So we are going to have our main damage dealers eat some starfruit. We're gonna have Melody kiss her girlfriend. Tank up a little bit. And we are gonna go to town. Now, Heavy Jelly's whole gimmick is that they can't be hurt except with attacks that cost star power. So we just fuel everyone up and blast away. But yeah, here we're coming up to our final destination, the last location of the game, the place where the ultimate showdown is going to take down in Act 5. Very Shakespearean. What do you think the name of the mountain is? If you guessed Mount Sappho...
I did not.
That's right. Just like Celeste, the mountain is gay.
The mountain is gay.
Yeah, those are unrunnable enemies, like I mentioned earlier, which is why I was taking it slow and making sure I did not get into that fight. But for this next fight, we're actually going to use a strat that I actually developed, where we're going to use a previously unused skill from Allison called Lightning Kicks, which does AoE damage of Lightning Element, which doesn't sound that exciting until you realize these troop tapers are weak to ice. Or lightning. And the guy in the middle is weak to ice, which I totally forgot to put the Froth Wab on Claire. I am a good speedrunner. I know how to do my menus correctly. So we are going to take care of that problem right away.
I am terrible at menuing. That's why I could never play RPGs.
That is fair. We pick up our second of 2 keys that we need here. And keep on keeping on. Look, just remember, in all of speedrunning, there are a few things that are impossible. Doors and menuing are 2 of them.
True. I also just realized that that one enemy that you just ran away from was just a straight up D20.
Mm-hmm. I believe...
If tabletop gaming isn't gay enough for you, I don't know what is.
Right. So here, we're gonna Allison get rescued real quick, and then we're gonna get a little bit of a solo segment. But hey, Bard power!
We love our bards.
And we are going to continue to use Lightning Kicks here because it is very good. the color wheel tried to change the color palette of someone who isn't even in the fight right now, and Allison does get a fun little dialogue of, yo, she's not even here right now! Which always makes me smile. Even if it is slow. We're gonna play it safe.
Yep, just looking at the chat, that is a good reminder. If you are making a donation and are donating towards an incentive, to make sure to include what incentive you are donating towards in your donation comment so we can make sure your money is going to the right place.
Mm-hmm. And here's another one of the fights where Lightning Kicks really shines because we do get that sweet, sweet AoE effect. Getting the right back at you proc earlier means that this is actually a 2-rounder, which is really nice. The solo segment's over. Girlfriends are reunited. Gonna do some more talking it out.
Aw, this is cute.
And now, they have resolved to kick butt.
Oh.
I mean, what's gayer than teaming up with your partner to, you know, fight the forces of evil?
True.
Set that up because we'll need to go down the other way for it later. The Cosmic Warrior here has an interesting property where magical damage does equal parts Jack Diddley and Squat. So we kind of have to speed up with Allison and try and take it out as best we can that way.
Equal parts jacked. Squad. Gonna have to put that quote in the back burner of funny things.
It is...
Sign for no fun allowed?
Yeah, it's the fun place.
Oh, okay. It is a... That is the most literal fun. Okay.
Yep. And if you read the bestiary entry, it does mention all cops are bastards, including that one. Oh, good. That enemy had stopped one tile short. We would have had to wait for it to come off cooldown and re-engage us and fight. And then... That's just slow. Just like, if you talk to the chest before you talk to Claire, she gets kind of salty about it. It's an amazing bit of dialogue, but it's also really slow. Over here, picked up a picnic set. Oh, we haven't talked about those because we only just got our first one from Heavy Jelly earlier. What it does is it's a full party heal outside of combat. So we need those basically to help us get through the last two fights. Nice pair of counterattacks there. We love to see it. Stop up here, get this wizard hat, because we haven't really gotten any other armor drops for Melody, so that's just gonna give her a little more healing output, but also just some extra defensive stats for this final boss gauntlet.
I do appreciate the name chat has given to this area of the pansexual crystal dimension.
I mean, where's the lie?
True.
So, do you like Mega Man?
Yep.
Cool, because we're going to do the Mega Man thing where we refight bosses from earlier. This is literally the same enemy down to the stat line as we fought earlier for Gumball Goliath. You'll notice, not exactly the most threatening encounter at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Here's the part where I need to be careful again, because I do not want to throw at the last minute. Unfortunately, they do not keep the same dust bunny as last time. This one has, in fact, been significantly buffed. Is still going to be a chump.
I don't know, maybe he got a better cardboard box this time.
Not really. Yeah.
Bye, Dust Bunny.
Okay. Use our picnic set 1. We are going to save. And here's Javis. This is, in my opinion, the most terrifying fight of the game. It is not unusual for this fight to go off the rails and for me to blank. It's also not unusual for this fight to be super straightforward and to have no issues whatsoever. There really is no middle ground.
Well, let's hope for the latter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good turn 1. That's a good turn 2. One of the things to note about the corruption status is that Melody is actually immune to it. So her getting targeted by the corruption beam there was actually optimal.
Fascinating. vibe into the music right now.
Mm-hmm. Might not be good. Yep. Well, luckily we have that. We really do not want Claire to be dead at the end of this fight. Okay. You remember how I said there was no middle ground?
Yes.
We found the middle ground.
I have a saying from all the events that I've worked. It's not a marathon if nothing goes wrong or a runner doesn't say, hey, that's new.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like those are the two hallmarks of a marathon. Something going wrong and that's never happened before.
Indeed. I've been on my fair share of enough marathons. I've seen it all at this point. That's not even... The fact that that was the thing that was off the rails is the surprising part, which is the part that shouldn't be surprising. Because, of course, it's always the part you suspect least.
Right.
This is Verena. She can also be super trolly. One of Claire's skills that she has is called Blink, which makes her untargetable for a turn. Verena can also cast that herself.
No.
Which, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that sounds slow. You would be right.
Yeah. Wasting time does not sound like a very fast thing to do.
Indeed. Nice crit, though.
Doing some decent damage there, it looks like.
Speaking of... It's for some decent AoE, okay. Alright, we've ticked over to phase 2, where she will buff everyone's magical attack, which is really nice for Claire.
Stars dropped in our heads.
Yep. The Melody's on healing duty. That's actually really good. For once.
While we are here, I am actually going to do a quick push for the the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Wealth of Sith armor incentive. The incentive has not been met, but that run is the first one of tomorrow, and it is actually that needs to be met by the start of that run. So we have only a couple minutes left tonight and then the start of tomorrow to get that met. So that donation goal is $200. So if you'd like to get your last minute donations in for the donation goal, now would be an excellent time. Remember, you can do Slam Donate in the chat. And remember in your donation comment to tell us what incentive you want your donation towards so we can make sure that your money is going to the right place. And of course, all of your donations are going to an excellent cause and supporting Happy Bear.
Well, that fight got a little spicy, but we got through. We are out of difficult fights. And now that we're done fighting, we get a moment to breathe, and we get a chance to actually talk it out with Verita, who's like, yeah, no, I actually like these kids. And then Melody's like, yeah, can you tell us what happened? We were talking with Zinnia. And Verita's like, what? What? I thought she was dead. Heck, conquering the world. I'm gonna go hang out with my wife. And Japhis is like, okay, but, like, I still kind of want to conquer the world. So, what do you think about VHS tapes?
They are old. I don't know. I'm too young to know much about VHS tapes. And I know
Fair.
I just made, like, half of the chat feel super old.
And the runner, don't worry about it. But have you ever seen a biblically accurate VHS tape?
No, I don't believe I have. Didn't realize I had VHS tapes in the Bible.
It's that old?
Ah, yes, they are really old. Oh. Oh no.
Yep.
That is something.
So now we're gonna need to do the power-up ritual again, which we know from earlier is very dangerous from what we had to deal with Paula, but, like, it's an RPG. We gotta go through one last power-up to fight God, and,
Right,
like,
of course.
we need a magical girl transformation.
We really do.
Hit the music.
That is indeed a biblically accurate VHS tape. I was already scared of the sentient ones, but here we are.
Alright. Not exactly what I wanted to see turn one, but, you know, we can work with this. We can work with this. Okay, that I can work with. So part of the strat here is because Alice and Melody are so powered up, we kind of just want to wait for the rest of the team to die. So that we don't have to spend time menuing and also seeing their attacks fire off. If Jody lives, that's not the worst. Because cracking the armor is such a good ability, which I don't think I actually talked about, but what it does is lowers the enemy's defenses by 25%. Which is really good because every single attack you do in this game keys off the enemy's either physical or magical defense stat. So having Jody here to keep that status up for as long as she has been is really useful. So time is not yet. Time is actually going to be in a little bit. We have a short epilogue to go through, so give it about 3 minutes.
We actually have something during this epilogue. We have, it looks like, a $200 donation from Yami Florence. Let's put the Sith armor on, baby! That should get that donation incentive met for getting that armor on in the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic run. That will be tomorrow morning, first thing. That will be at 12 o'clock Eastern time, 11 a.m. Central. So get hyped for that run. That is coming up tomorrow. We have, of course, many more runs, including that one, throughout tomorrow and the rest of the weekend. So we really appreciate those donations. They are going to an excellent cause at supporting our friend Happy Bear.
Yeah. That is super generous. As we wind things down, I just want to do a quick round of shoutouts because once we start rolling credits, I'm going to be wanting to go to bed as soon as possible. So I'm going to say my thank yous sooner rather than later. So first and foremost, a wonderful shout out to my wonderful partner, co-commentator, and current sleepyhead, Demarine, who is, as previously mentioned, very much asleep and being adorable. Shout out to my other wonderful partners, Zoe, Alice, and Jen. Shout outs to the SLRPG speedrunning community. You all rock. Can't wait to see more people showing up and playing this wonderful game. And, shout outs to Happy Bear. I don't know you that well, but you seem like you rock. And I hope that you get everything you need to take care of those medical bills because, American healthcare sucks.
That is true. It is all about supporting our friends. Thank you so much for those shout outs. We really appreciate it, and I understand how much community and that support can mean to people, and that's why we're all here. We are all a community. All of our runners, volunteers, every single one of us is here because we are here to support Happy Bear, and all of your donations are doing to change someone's life. And that's really impactful. And so I am thankful to have you here running this game, and all of our runners, all of our fellow volunteers, everyone behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. Everyone's great.
And with that, time is coming up momentarily once we get the first bit of music, lyrics, the first frame of the title fading in right about now.
Alrighty. Final time is 1 hour 54 minutes. 1 hour 51 minutes and 54 seconds.
Nice. I'm still impressed that even with a run that had some ups and downs going on, sub 2 is just a very cozy estimate for me. It still blows my mind. I remember when I was starting to run this game and sub 2 felt like a distant dream, not just for me personally, but for the community. So it blows me away every single time.
Right. Thank you so much for running this game for us. I completely understand. Alrighty. We are going to head to a short break, and thank you so much again for being here with us, doing this run for us, Leggystarscream. This was fantastic.
Thank you.